Well, happy New Year, everybody. We're so excited to have you guys here with us. My name is Danielle Pastilli, and this is the beautiful color queen Suzanne Murphy joining us today. And we're excited to have you guys here. It's been we're in a new year, so of course a new phase of things, and there's lots to discuss today. So off the top, one of the things that we will be discussing, I'm just going to go through a little itinerary here so you know what to expect throughout the course of the next couple of hours. We're going to be touching base on the turquoise year. What is it? What does that mean? And what does that mean for all of us? And how do you come to that conclusion? And then, of course, beginning of the new year, it's always new year, new you. Well, we have a lot of goals and personal commitments that we want to get to and we want to be able to stick to. So how can we actually enforce that in ourselves so that we can actually execute all of those things that that we're wanting to do, that we always put in the beginning of the year but often fall flat after a little while. So and then after that, we're going to be talking about, we're going to recap on the success principles. And this is something you've heard us talk about many times before, but it definitely warrants bringing back up again, because these are the principles that create success in all of those areas of our life. And so coming into that beginning of a new year, it's a really great time to go over those things again so that we can really instill those principles that create the success in all areas of our life. And then, of course, part of that is working on the weaker muscles, right? So we've got that analogy of going back to the gym. Everybody wants to get physically fit. And, if you overwork the tricep, but don't work the bicep, it's out of proportion. And same thing with your color energy personality. If you're only executing with one type of personality, you're just not going to be able to create that balance in your life. And of course, going back to those success principles, we need to work on those areas of strength, particularly so that we can create those areas of success in our life. So we've also had some updates to our personality test. And so we'll be getting into some of those updates and revisions that have been made, and how you can incorporate the personality test into your business. Again, just another component of it. And we're going to be talking a little bit about attracting greater love into your life. Now, some people are looking for a relationship, while others are maybe looking to enhance the romance in their own relationship that's been existing. Maybe it's a little bit stagnant. But again, coming back to those success principles on how we can use those three staple points to bring a little bit more love and intimacy into your life and your relationships, and all relationships really, for that matter. As well as, if you are looking for a relationship, we're going into the next month is Love Month. So we want to be able to help people that are maybe looking for love and have been struggling in that area. And we've got a few neat ideas there for you on how to implement that. And of course, if you have a business, how can you take the ideas that we're giving you today and implement them into your own business? So things like, creating pink displays and giving people the ideas on how to execute what we're sharing with you, on how you can pass that love on to your clients and how they can get creative around Valentine's Day for themselves and their own relationships too. And then lastly, we're going to be talking a little bit about our blends. And we specifically are going to be focusing on the mood blends. But a lot of times people ask us what the difference is between our energy blends, our therapy blends, and our mood blends. And so how do the mood blends play into our total well-being and health and wellness? So, and if you decide you're going to stick around until the very end, we're going to be offering up a free personality test at the end. So make sure that you do stick around for that. And just before we get started into the turquoise year, where Suzanne will get us going, just a couple of housekeeping. If you are just coming in now, what we're asking is, if you have any questions along the way, just plug them into the chat. And when we get to each segment of the itinerary that I've brought up, when we get to each end of the segment, I'll be going through and asking the questions that you've got on the way. And I think that's pretty straightforward. And then also, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the courses as well, just before we get started. And Suzanne's going to pop a poll into the chat. Now, not only the classes that we are going to be putting into the polls, but if you have ideas for courses that you would like, feel free to email us at any time and just say, like, if you see that it's a niche that we have and you want to know more on a particular topic, let us know what those ideas are. We're always looking for new ideas and certainly willing to take that feedback. So coming up in the next few months, we have got an astrology numerology color class. This is actually going to be on January 31st. It's a 3 to 6 p.m. class. Susanne, you've already done what, 2 or 3 of these classes? This is
Two of them
the
already.
third one.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've had amazing feedback. And this is really bringing together all the different puzzle pieces of your color personality aspects, your astrological information, as well as numerology that's related to your name. So when you look at all of these pieces of the puzzle, it really helps you to have a clear understanding of your color blueprint. So looking forward to that one again. We've again been having such great feedback. Now, today is January 22nd. If you are watching this and these dates have already passed by, just know that some of these courses are not only are either reoccurring, some of them are new, but you can still get the content of information that we're talking about here, and just touch base with us for upcoming dates if there's some of these courses that you're interested in. So again, the astrology numerology color class is going to be on January 31st. It's a $29 class. If you have not done a personality test within the last year, we highly recommend updating your personality test, particularly because we've got the new revised test. And those tests are $30 for our students. And then if you'd like to teach the class, then you have the opportunity to get the teacher's package, and that's only $20 as well. So total class, if you needed all 3 components, would be $79, but maybe you don't need the personality test. Maybe you don't want to teach and you just want to come for yourself. It's only $29. So did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, I was just going to say, and you can take the class and then decide later on if you want the teacher's package or to do the test. It's just that we always refer to the test in a lot of our training programs because it's a tool to discover more about who you are. And when I say the word who, it's sort of like who, because we are human. And that's another pun that I always say is that, we're all colors of the rainbow, and to learn the sequence of our colors is really important. So if you haven't done the test, then I highly encourage you to do it.
Why don't you talk about the organ language and analysis class? Because that one's a newer one. So why don't you tell me what you have up your sleeve?
I'm excited to teach this one because I've been into body language for quite a long time, even before I started working with the biopulsar. But body language is all about understanding the function of the organ physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So what we're targeting in this class is teaching people about how to look at some of our energy imbalances on that physical level and what that means to us. So it is a great course to learn, about yourself. Like, if there's a specific symptom or problem that you have, this conversation or this class will be open to some discussion at the end in regards to personal issues. But during the class, we're going over a whole bunch of the organ language to help you understand that connection. Now, of course, if you're a biopulsar owner, this is a must-do class because it's literally part of the program that I teach when you come to Canada. But of course, I want to start teaching my classes over the internet because I think it's a great way to really educate people on a lot of subjects. And we're going to go into the color aspect of the organs as well. So it's an all-encompassing course.
And that's on February 20th, and that class is only $97 as well.
Yeah.
Next up, we'll have April 17th to the 19th is going to be an in-house class. This is crystal light therapy, and that'll be from 9 to 6 p.m. for the course of the 3 days. This course is regularly $649, but you save $50 if you book before the end of
this month,
end of January. So book now and you can save yourself $50 on that one. And crystal light therapy is working with the piezoelectric, how do you say it? Piezoelectric charge, yes, of crystals. So if you've been used to doing massage treatments and you're a little overexhausted, maybe you've got carpal tunnel, but you really crave doing body work, or holistic healing work, the crystal light therapy class, the feedback that I get from all of the customers that have come and worked with you, Susanne, is that it's a course that brings all of the different components together. Sometimes we've worked with people that have had like pranic healing or Reiki or
even massage therapists,
and it's a course that really helps to bridge all of the other courses together and piece together, like, how do I teach, so many practitioners have got multiple different layers under their belt of what they teach, and crystal light therapy helps to be like the gel for all of it that just makes all of their courses blend beautifully, because you can incorporate what you've already learned with what we teach you as either a standalone
Yeah.
treatment or, again, like I said, is something that you can incorporate with what you already know.
And I just want to let you know, and you may know this already, but crystal light therapy was featured in a couple of international spa magazines as the spa treatment of the future, because it's one of the few spa treatments that really integrates the holisticness. And another thing I'll mention too, this is not body work. You're learning how to activate the crystals to create the piezoelectricity that does the work for you. So you don't have to be a massage therapist. It's teaching you how to do a treatment step by step that you repeat every single time. So again, it's about the crystals doing the work and not you learning how to be a massage therapist. It's a crystal massage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of our most popular classes, and definitely the foundation for those that want to advance their learning or are interested in becoming a teacher, is our 8-week master class, color energy course.
Yeah.
Now, that is an online program done over 8 weeks, once a week, and it's on Wednesdays from 3 to 4:30. So for about an hour and a half, once a week, you get together with
Yeah.
the same group of people, and you are learning everything about color. You are breathing, and sleeping everything during the course of the week. So there is a correspondence component to that, and then the 8-week online program. Now, typically, this course is $749. Some of you already may have the correspondence part of it, so you wouldn't necessarily need that. If you do need the correspondence course, just so that you can see how it's broken down, it's $349. Is it $349 or $399 for the correspondence?
It's $450. Oh, the correspondence, sorry, $299.
$299, and then the online portion is
$450.
Okay, so together it would be $749 for the two of them.
Yeah.
And then if you book before, again, the end of January, that it is $50 off of each part. So it would be like $100 in savings if you needed the whole component. If you don't need the correspondence part, then that part gets completely deducted for you. Okay. Any questions at all there? You can just pop them into the chat and I'll answer in a moment. And then we've also got a later date that is to be determined, possibly like late spring, early summer, if you're not able to make the master program, which is going to be March 6th to April 24th is that time frame. So again, another later one, you can just pop into the chat if that's something you're wanting to do, but maybe these first dates don't work for you. Just let us know what dates you would like, and we can certainly take that under consideration and bring together the most people possible. So the next one is the Holistic Aura Counselor Online Masterclass. Which one is that one, Susanne? It's $399.
So this is taking aura analysis to the next level. It's learning how to read an aura picture. Of course, it's based on the biopulsar technology, but it doesn't matter what aura technology you have if you have some of those older systems, but it's teaching how to read the aura. And for those of you who are clairvoyant, it may help to refine your skills, because one of the things that we talk about in class is, aspects of the aura that often are not really discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to go over a whole bunch of different things in this class. I'll be covering astral flying and near-death experiences and all kinds of things that we see when we're analyzing the aura. So it's again an advanced program on how to read the aura.
And then I guess then the lesser advanced program would be the medical intuition class. Now, do we have a date on that one already, or it's to be May?
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of pending it, because I decided to slip a few other classes ahead of this one based on feedback that I was getting from everyone. So I was thinking that it might happen in May, but
okay. Well, in the medical intuition class that we've done before is, we're always taught that we've got 5 senses, but as most of you here probably know, we've got that 6th sense, that intuitive, that intuition that we have. And I really feel that this is something that is not hard, like it's not taught to us as we grow up. Some people are, very innately very intuitive, and, perhaps maybe growing up, your parents have told you, oh, never mind, that's not true. You're just so many aspects of our intuition are really high-bosh, and we're not taught to think outside of the box. We're not taught discernment, we're just taught to follow rules and, stay within a
Yeah.
box. When we're going to school, it's, all about, the yellow and blue personality with a little bit of red and a little bit of orange of creativity or a little bit
Yeah.
of gym, but mostly it's following the rules and learning how to be a good student and a good citizen in life. So this is really taking us outside of the box and helping you to re-engage with your intuitive self. And you've got some really neat things that you teach in there that, you're closing your eyes, you're working, you're using all of your senses to be able to, feel the energy
Yeah.
of certain things. So anything you want to add to that or?
Well, it is quite the sensory journey,
Yeah.
I can't even describe it, but when I used to teach this course as a 2-day weekend workshop, and again, what I did with the students was sort of like off the wall, but it was to help everyone enhance their sensory perceptions
Mhm.
based on all our senses, including, our third eye. This has to be done with 2 people in a group because
Okay.
there's things that you need to do with each other, which of course, when I teach the class in-house, then it's easy enough because I can partner people up together.
Okay.
But if we're doing this via online, then you will have to find somebody to do this class with you because you can't do this class alone.
Okay. So is
You
it
won't
$30
get
a person then, or is it $30 for the
per
one?
person.
Okay. So it'd
Yeah,
be $60 for the 2 people to come in.
correct. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. So without further ado.
Oh, no, we
Oh,
didn't
no.
talk about the holistic.
Oh, one more. Okay,
We
I missed
skipped
that.
that
Skip that
one.
one. Okay, go for
So
it.
we're also doing a holistic light therapy class. Tina and myself will be doing this one together. And what it is it's working with light therapy. And it is an 8-week program where you're going to be learning techniques and then you'll have to apply them for the week. And then again, this is what's going to be happening throughout the whole program is it's learning a technique and practicing it, learning a technique and practicing it. Likewise, it's great if there's 2 people that can experience it together. Otherwise, you will have to find a guinea pig or 2 to actually do these treatments on. But the value of always having a partner when we're doing these different types of classes is actually feeling the treatment yourself. Because
Mhm.
what's made me a phenomenal practitioner is being able to experience the treatment multiple times and being able to go through everything in my head and go, okay, I really like this, or this wasn't hard enough, or I need to tweak this and just refine, refine, refine. But you need to be able to receive the treatment in order to really experience it. And with light therapy, there's certain treatments you can do on yourself, but ideally you need to have somebody that you can treat, or I
Practice
should
with.
say, yeah. And that way you'll get much more out of the program. But with this class, it's not mandatory that you need to do it in groups of 2, although I do highly recommend it.
So
Okay.
this is typically a course that we've actually taught here in-house, but we're giving it a go to see how we do, experiencing it online so that we can get more people to be able to participate. Light therapy is one of the most amazing tools you can get your hands on. So if you don't yet have a pen light, it is such a therapeutic tool that you can use to work on with yourself, and
Yeah.
you get such great feedback from your customers as well that they're always going to be coming back or referring you to other people to come and see you, because the testimonies that come from the healing benefits are, it travels at the speed of light. So sometimes results are instantaneous with some of the healing properties of it. So,
Yeah.
it's definitely a course to check out, and a pen light, a good thing to get for yourself as well.
Yeah. And I will mention too, I just talked to one of our clients earlier today, and she was asking about using the pen light on gemstones. And that is part of what you're learning when you're learning how to do light therapy, is working with the frequency of the stones. Because again, when you use light and activate a gemstone, magic really does happen. Meaning, we create that piezoelectricity that then shoots into the body and does deep healing work. So yeah, so I'm
Good.
very excited that these classes are finally getting scheduled and as online classes. So
Yeah. So if you haven't yet plugged in, certainly answer into the polls. You can think about it. This is just a tool for us to know to get back to you if you'd like to have us send you more information or have a conversation with you about the classes that are coming up. So now, without further ado, it's a turquoise year. So what does that mean? How do you come to that conclusion? And what does that mean for all of us?
Yeah. Well, in a way, this even ties up with the astrology class that I'll be teaching on the 31st. But really, when we look at vibration, vibration is a mathematical equation. So the year 2024 equals the number 8, and the number 8 is the turquoise frequency. So this year is all about the turquoise ray. Now, turquoise helps you to progress forward so you can achieve more. It's what we refer to as the optimal energy. It literally gives you a reserve. It's a little bit in between that blue and green, so it's a slightly higher in frequency than the balance energy. It installs acceptance and supports realizations because, again, sometimes we get stuck in our own thoughts. And to have these emotional thoughts, which again is that combination of the green-blue energy, can be phenomenal to get you out of that linear thinking. It also helps to break the chains of unnecessary programming through detachment because the turquoise energy helps us to release. It helps us to release these negative thoughts, these negative programs. And in fact, one of the physical symptoms of an imbalanced turquoise energy is when people stutter. However, when you implement the turquoise energy, it brings the heart into the voice. And often when we're only communicating from the blue, then we're trying to please people with knowledge, with sort of, our own self-identity. Whereas when you bring that energy through the heart and then through the voice, you soften it and bring in the power of the emotions. And that emotional connection and communication is really, really important. It also helps to keep you on course, regardless of what's being said, because it helps you to stay true to your heart, true to your own voice and feelings. Now, physically, it is the symbol of protection. It helps to build up your immunity and your defense system. And this is one of the reasons why in a lot of our turquoise blends, we put a lot of these turquoise oils in, which are natural immune boosting oils. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we go into talking about our blends. Now, emotionally, it is the color of heartfelt communications. And again, when you communicate from your heart, there's a lesser potential of miscommunication because communication is such such a hard thing in our society, in part, and we're going to talk about this briefly, but if I'm talking to somebody who is a green energy and green is sort of low in my own personality chart, I may be not talking to them in their language. Because we have to understand we all communicate through our main energy centers, and we tend to have one or two that's predominant, and often some that are energy centers that we don't access a lot. So therefore, we can have misunderstandings if we're not communicating from the heart and we're miscommunicating because we're not talking in the other person's color language. And that's one of the benefits as you learn the language of light, then it's easier to communicate with others. So it helps you to speak your true feelings so harmony can be felt. Mentally, it is the renewing energy, and spiritually, it helps to refresh yourself. It offers peace and calm, and this is the color that we can use in decor and, with the clothing that we wear. And it's all about creating an optimal balance in life. And I think this is part of what people are struggling now with. They've learned so much knowledge, but now what are you going to do with it? So this is the year that you want to start creating more about your truth and actualizing it in real time this year. And spiritually, it helps you to find the best in humanity as it liberates your spirit, which again is all about that turquoise energy, and everything that's been happening over the last couple of years brings us to this time frame of the turquoise year. So very exciting.
Yeah. I also think too with the combination, you've got the combination of green to the blue, as you were mentioning.
Yeah.
And it's like the green is the helping energy. And I feel like, we've come from we have a very yellow society of people, which are, unfortunately on the negative side of things can be very self-absorbed. You see this through social media. And that green energy is a helping energy, it's a nurturing energy, it's a giving energy. And so when you combine the blue with the green, you are getting the organizational part of and the leadership part and the harnessing of loyalty and trust with that helping energy. This is where we're meant to be. We are meant to be of service to others. This is, you know, do unto others as you would have do unto you.
Yeah.
This is, you know, like giving to your neighbor, not like, you know, not love yourself, you know, like your love. What's that saying? It's in the Bible. Love your neighbor like your
Do unto others.
no, that one
Okay,
too.
not that one.
But
Okay.
the idea is that you want to be able to look after everybody else. You're not there to look after yourself first. Love your neighbor like yourself. That's where I was going.
Okay.
You know, and so it's about giving and being of help to others. So I just want to put that out there too, because I think that that's something that we fall short on, is we're always working on ourself and our self love and our self this and self that, and really it's a self-serving. When you are giving to others, it really benefits yourself. You know, it fills your cup up more than what you ever expect when you're actually giving to others. So I just want to bring that little piece into it too. So
Sweet.
good.
Awesome.
So we've got new year, new you. So now we've got this turquoise energy that is working in our favor. You know, all the elements are working with us. And so what does it mean, you know, when you set these goals for yourself, but how do we get them? How do we get the longevity of it? How do we
Yeah.
have the stay power with these things? So one of the things for, you know, that I had discovered over the years of working with color energy and doing a tons of audio work, and you've probably heard me talk about this before, but I was listening to many, many different audio CDs. And I remember in particular, one was Jack Canfield's 101 Success Principles. And I thought to myself, you know, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to remember all of these? Like, it's just, you're like, you'd be lucky if you can remember two or three of them. And then I was listening, you know, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williams, and on and on and on, and all of these different people. And as I'm listening, I'm like, when it's coming to all of the successes, I'm realizing I'm able to color code this. And I'll be like, oh, that's your yellow. Oh, that's your blue. That's your red. And repetitively, when I was listening to all of these different principles of what it takes to have financial success, relationship success, career success, it always boiled down to three color principles. So that is easier to remember than it is to remember 101 success principles or even 2 to, you know, 9 hours of audio CD, but you can boil it down to three things in success in every area of your life. So what are those colors? So if you think back on a lot of, I'm sure many of you here have, you know, listened to different inspirational stuff. You know, we talk about getting excited. You know, this
Mhm.
is your yellow energy where you are, you know, you get butterflies. And I always say, you know, intuitively, if something excites you, you move towards it, it gives you butterflies, you move towards it. If it gives you anxiety and a knot in your gut, you move away from it, right? So that's listening to your gut instinct. And so, you know, you get excited about things. You know, what does your dream house look like? What does your physical appearance look like? What does, you know, your dream career look like? You know, get excited. You
Yeah.
talk about it. You know, even when we're talking about business plans for the year, like what are we talking about? We had a meeting here the other day and it starts with a conversation like,
Yeah.
okay, let's get excited about it. And then it starts executing into plan mode. So from yellow, where do we go? We go into plan mode. Okay, who's going to do what, you know, in our
Yeah.
meetings, right? So but you know, for yourselves, and whether this is for your business or for personal purposes, it's like, what are your personal goals? And it's important to get these written down. Writing things down is such a step that so many people miss. And if you don't have strong blue energy, then this is something that absolutely needs to happen. Particularly if you are predominant in right brain energy, which would be orange or green or indigo,
Indigo.
or
Mhm.
could be violet, that there's a lot of times that structured planning strategy, you know, the blue personality tends to go to the wayside. And I will tell you, if you have that blue energy, that list set up, it makes phase 3 a lot easier. So when it comes to the part 2, your blue energy is very, very important. Write down the lists, all the things that it takes to be successful in that particular area. So I'll give you some examples. You say you wanted to own a home. It's like, what do I need to do to get my home? What do I need to do for the financial end of things? Okay, I've got to contact a bank. I've got to contact maybe a mortgage broker. I've got to look at what consolidating whatever debts I have. Where do I need to get my down payment from? Coming up with a whole bunch of sub lists for where you could potentially get that from. And they say that, if you write down your first 5 ideas, that sometimes are your easier ideas. But when you get into the 10th idea or the 20th idea, it gets a lot harder, but that's where your creative abilities really start kicking in. So writing down a list of a minimum of 20 things, and even if it feels like it's a total stretch, something very beautiful happens when you put especially pen to paper as opposed to even keyboarding. Keyboarding can work, but pen to paper, there's something very magical that happens at that point. So writing down the list, writing down the 20 things, even if it seems like it's really far out there, it's maybe nothing you would ever do, maybe it's somebody you would never borrow money from or whatever it is, but write it down, because when you do, sometimes that plans and that steps you forward to another idea. It might not be the one that you execute on, but this is where you're getting your creative juices flowing, okay? So we've come from yellow, we've got the lists and the planning in the blue. Now it makes it easier to execute with plan 3. And quite simply, it's like the Nike just do it symbol, right? Just do it. You look back on that list, and if you are making small steps towards your goals on a daily basis, that can amount to astronomical changes by the end of the year. So, how do you get those plans where you can put them in place and actually
Yeah.
execute them by the end of the year? Small steps every single day. So this might be just picking up the phone and calling the mortgage broker,
Yeah.
consolidating some debt, selling some things on marketplace so that you can start putting a little treasure trove away for whatever it is that you're trying to save for. So I hope that you kind of get the idea for what I'm talking about. Maybe give me a little show of hands there and let me know that you get the ideas of, writing down the list and then actually just following through and executing on everything that's on that list. And if you think about it, those 3 things make up primary colors. And what does primary mean? Means first, right? So I always think about, our color triangle where we've got, our primary colors along the bottom with the
Yeah.
3 colors, and which 3 of those colors you mix. So whether it's the red with the yellow, you get the orange, whether it's the yellow with the blue, you get the green. So that gives you your secondary colors, right? And so, and then what is it? Red and blue, then you get the violet. So those are your secondary colors. And a lot of people, particularly in this industry,
Yeah.
are working predominantly with their green, with their orange, and with their violet energy.
Yeah.
And because a lot of them are healers and feelers, they're nurturers. We've got a lot of people that work with pets or,
Yeah.
in healthcare, in alternative wellness. So those are all the jobs that are right-brained energies. Now, the yellow, the blue, and the red, they're your left brain energies. So in your personality, if you don't have those colors in, closer to the top of your chart, or you don't have a really nicely well-balanced chart, like if you've got a big spread between your numbers, then you're going to struggle in those areas a little bit more. You might be strong maybe in getting the excited stage, but maybe and maybe the blue stage even,
Yeah.
but maybe your red is at the bottom and you actually struggle with, actually executing ideas. And we see that all the time in this industry.
Yeah.
Tons of great ideas, but failure to execute in some cases. So,
And last week, I just have to share, last week, we talked a lot about the blue energy, because without that blue leadership energy,
mhm.
it's hard to lead your clients to follow you. And you have to have that. So blue is really important for the business aspect.
Yeah. And for people to trust you that you
Yeah.
are you're an authority on the topics that you're speaking on. So having that blue confidence to be
Yeah.
able to talk about things, absolutely. And being organized really gives people a sense of your capabilities and your organizational skills. It shows them that you've got things together, right? So I think that it's a really good muscle to exercise. And that's where we were talking about at the
Yeah.
beginning, exercising those muscles, that if you are overworking your tricep, but not working, or other way, your tricep, but not working your bicep, you're going to have this flabby front, but this big oversized backside. So, same thing with your personalities. When we work on those 3 energies, it's going to make the success of your right-brained energies that much more beneficial. So if you find that you have those 3 secondary colors in your, or even indigo, which is a territory color, your third level, if you have those ones as your predominant colors, it's really going to be important for you to have the success that you need in those primary colors. So your yellow, your blue, your red, focusing on those areas, you're going to have a ton of success in the other areas, especially if you are, a lot of these things don't need to take a lot of time. This can be a 15-minute process.
Mhm.
You can be getting excited about it, having a conversation. Let's write a list and don't let the grass grow under your feet. Let's pick up the phone call and call the mortgage broker.
Yeah.
So, it's just for me, I'm somebody, grass doesn't grow under my feet. So if I get an idea, I tend to get a little, sometimes it's, too fast for the company, even, is where I'll get the Danielle, okay, just slow down for a second. Like we got to put some structure in place and some marketing in place. And there's a
Yeah.
few things that need to be done before we can talk about other things. Maybe that's a good segue to talking a little bit more about the personality test,
Yeah.
because there has been some changes, some things that we're not going to tell you about just yet. So you'll have to stay tuned, because I can't tell you just yet. But
I keep telling Danielle, we can't say too much.
yeah, but there has been some changes. So why
Yes.
don't you chat a little bit about
Yes.
that?
So we've added more questions to the questionnaire, and we've made it a little bit easier for everybody to use in all types of applications, because one of the complaints that we had is that using the test in the business application, because of the fact we were also going into aspects of topics that maybe are uncomfortable for people to
Spirituality and sexuality, the two
Yep.
conversations that a lot of people just are not prepared to look at. So from a business aspect,
Yeah.
some little tweaks were made for sure.
Yeah. And so the questions that we're asking, we still get the same results. We're also giving you a little bit more choices. So before it was either yes, no, or the maybe. Now we're doing strongly agree, agree, neutral, strongly disagree, and
Or disagree and then strongly disagree.
and strongly disagree. So we're able to refine it a bit more. So that way, again, we know that the results are just going to be that more
detailed.
More detailed and more correct. And moving forward, this is going to help if you're using this as part of your practice. And one of the things in the first 20 years that I worked for the company, I didn't have the biopulsar initially, but the color test was something I did with all my classes. I wanted everyone to have their color chart in front of them. So as we were talking about the different energies, people would go, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm strong there. Or, oh yeah, that makes sense because I'm weak there. Having that totality is really empowering as to exactly where your power is and where maybe you don't pay attention. And again, going back to, healers are feelers. And because healers are feelers, they're going to be using more of their right brain energy and not their left brain energy. And this isn't about a right or wrong, but I know with myself, when I learned that I was a yellow violet, it was sort of like I had this immediate understanding, because my yellow and violet always challenged me throughout my life. Being a visionary, being also very intuitive, but yet that analytical side of me was going, well, how can that be true? How can you be feeling this, because of the situation, so I always drove myself a little bit crazy, challenging my spiritual belief, actually. So doing the test, that gave me a peace of mind to understand, hey, I'm just a yellow violet, and yellow violet are on two opposite sides of the spectral hue. And again, this isn't about a right or wrong, but the test also showed me that I was weak in my emotional energies, my orange and my green. And that was eye-opening for me as well, because even though I felt that I felt, I analyzed my feelings. Well, that's not the same as feeling, okay?
And an emotional person can't turn their emotions off with the flick of a switch, where a yellow will think, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
just turn it off. And it's
Yeah.
like an emotional person will wear their heart on their sleeve, and it's just who they are, right?
Yeah. Well, and again, it's because when we're strong in an energy, we have beliefs that correspond to that frequency. And this is what we have to understand. It's all about energy. Now, I want to also share with you, and I know a few of you may have heard me say this, but we took our test to two different universities and had them compare our test to others that were on the market. Well, we're the only one that tests our 7 energy centers. Most companies only do 4, a category of 4, and then they kind of mix them up. But with us, we actually tell you which ones are strongest, which ones are weaker, and we give it to you in a numerical value. So it's easy for you to understand. Now, because of the fact our next subject that we're talking about is, the month of love and, the love energy and I our let me go back. One of the things that we will be doing for practitioners who use this test is also educating you on how you can educate people on relationships. This is really important because even in our office, we know everybody's energy. And it surely helps a lot to understand.
Communication.
Well, absolutely, because Danielle knows, the way my yellow tends to react, and you're patient with me on that. And I know she's blue. Look at, she's put our whole course itinerary down there. We're both high in violet, so we understand the violet connection, no problem. But understanding that and understanding the relationship with your partner, because, had I not understood my partner's colors, I know we would have never lasted because we're very strong-minded, but in different frequencies. So when you understand, how the different, energies are and how they work with each other, it's really empowering. And this is what we're trying to do, is empower people. So in the future with our new test, we have a lot of plans to educate practitioners further on how they can use the test. And I even know, Danielle, you have your own story by understanding that your son was orange.
Oh, yeah. Just, even before I get into that though, too, do you want to just touch on the numbers and the difference in the numbers compared to the old test?
Sure.
Because
So
we're just into that too.
the new test is based on 4 numbers. It's no longer just 2 numbers. The 2-number system was indicating from top to bottom, where, from top to bottom, your strengths and your weaknesses. But the second set of numbers goes a little bit more into the refinement, which is actually on a percentage of 100. So it's easy to see right away, okay, on this percentage, this is, the frequency. So it's kind of giving you 2 ways of looking at the final numbers. So it's just more evidence.
Just to give you as an example, say, for instance, if you've done a personality test, you might have seen blue 15, violet 12, orange 10, and it would go across like that. So now what you've got is you'll have the same order, if that's predominantly what the person's personality traits are, but it might say 1585, 1625. It'll have a 4-number digit. So the first 2 numbers associate to the original personality test that we had, going through the questions and series that they've gone through. But the second set will pertain to how they gauged on a percentage level out of 100. So the 15 would be like the original system that we had, where the 85 would say out of 100%, this is how strong this person is in that personality. So it's almost like a dual check system. So, I found it actually really interesting in that when I did my test, and I haven't got in here in front of me here to, hopefully I can explain it clearly, but what I found is that everything was the same, but what I found was that one of the numbers in the middle of my personality was, the one was higher and lower, and then the next one was lower and higher. And I thought, oh, okay, so what does that mean exactly? And so what that in essence means is, when I looked at the numbers, my numbers were so close together, where one was a high low and one was a low high, that I literally flip in and out of those 2 colors almost equally. So because the numbers were like interchangeable basically. So I think when you see a personality test, that'll make more sense. So if you see something that's like, well, how come this one's higher and this one's lower, but this one is higher and this one's lower? It would just basically means I'm able to flip in and out of those 2 colors. They're almost exactly the same. So it was really interesting and more telling that, and more confirming, I think, for me, just that where my personality traits are. And then of course, when you know more about yourself, and I've had a lot of changes since my last personality test. This last few years has definitely changed me. And when we talked about earlier about being of service more, I mean, that's definitely something where, when I first started with the company, doing humanitarian work and those sorts of things was not even on my radar. I was definitely way more in my yellow. But now, I mean, that's all I want to do, is just help other people. I just want to be of service. And And so that is definitely shining through with my personality. I've got a lot more violet at the
Yeah.
top. I want to change the world. I just want to do everything I can to make my little mark on the world. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth doing a new personality test, and especially if you're going to attend one of these courses coming up here in the next little bit.
Well, the master program that starts on
Yeah,
March
part of
6th,
it.
this is where we're really going into the refinement of the color intelligence, because every color, there's literally 200 to 300 characteristics that attach to that color. And of course, you have free will of choosing which attributes are very important to you. And so therefore, by understanding these different characteristics helps you to understand, more about the energy. Because again, if you're looking at the fact that your top 3 energies are, blue, indigo, and violet, your way of being is different than somebody who has red, orange, and yellow as their mate. So understanding all these little variables, which colors are emotional, which colors are mental, which colors are more spiritual, the combination of them also has such an impact. And again, no other test goes to that level. And on top of that, we provide you with solutions. And this is part of what we love to teach, is that when you need a specific energy muscle, right? That you're bringing in the color vibration that will help you to get to where you want to go. Because if your vibration is off in a color frequency, then you're not attracting the energy. And this is why when we talk about the law of resonance or the law of attraction, I've had hundreds of people, over the years tell me, "Oh, Suzanne, this is what I want in my life." And I'm going, "Okay, what do you want? What are you doing to accomplish that?" Going back to, the ABCs of color, is if you're not using the right energy in all these different methods, then how are you going to get to where you want to go? And let's segue now into the pink.
Yeah.
Because if you're not vibrating that love energy, how can you attract loving relationships back to you? So having the bile pulsar, whenever I see that somebody's heart chakra is out of whack, I know that there is relationship issues, that they're not attracting the right people into their life that will help nurture their energy. Because as you said earlier, when you give love to people, generally it is reciprocal. But if you give love to someone and they have no love to give back to you, then the energy exchange isn't there. Now, on a pink level, when you give love, it is unconditional, meaning you're not expecting it to come back. And that is the service work aspect. Sorry about that. So when you're working on a love relationship that's a more physical relationship, then that's the green energy and the heart exchange. So that's a different vibration that you work on. So knowing the colors are really important, because again, if you are failing to plan, you need the blue energy. If you want that loving relationship, you have to work on that green, but you also need to work on the pink level. So there's a lot of color coding that you have to understand to create that success.
Yeah. And with the green energy, which is the heart center, which is like a reflection of the pink. Like the pink is cosmic love. So this goes beyond just this earthly love. But when we look at the heart center, a lot of people will use pink tools and use it on to their heart energy center. And you've got 2 arms, which is connected to the green chakra. And this is about one for giving and one for receiving, and it should be in equal proportions. So, when somebody is, wanting to give to you, it's nice to receive, but then make sure that you are, then paying that forward, whether that be to the person who's given to you or whether you pay it forward to somebody else. And that symbiotic relationship will continue on throughout in many areas of your life. Especially I find, the more that I give to others, the more that seems to, God seems to give back so much tenfold for me. Not just in the feelings that I have, but in ways that I didn't expect, for people to do, nice things for me and stuff. So it's just, that loving energy, the more we put out, the more we do get back. The seeds that you sow do come back. When we're talking, just going into the pink energy, I want to reflect back onto the success principles that we just talked about, because I know that there's probably some people here that are already in relationships and maybe things are a little stagnant. And then there's other people who maybe are looking for a relationship and maybe they haven't been able to find that perfect love in their life. And so how can we harness some of that? Because
Mhm.
I think, obviously they go, if we're in a happier place, or I always say too, if your kids are happy, you're happy. If your kids aren't happy, you're not happy. And so, it's bringing love into the home if you've got family. But for yourself, when you're looking for relationships, I'm going to talk on both aspects of this for a moment. Is that, say, for instance, you are looking to be in relationship, you struggle in relationship. Maybe you've got some friends that I'm sure everybody knows somebody who's single right now, and meeting people isn't always the easiest. And so what are the things that we can do to create that love success? So we talked about the yellow energy. Let's get excited about it. Like, what does your love interest look like? Like, what is it, what does he or she look like? What would you want in the relationship with this person? And careful, choose your words carefully, because it's not what you don't want, it's what you do want, right? It's so easy to say, I don't want somebody who's this or is going to do that. No, it's about speaking in positive terms of what
Mhm.
it is that you want in a relationship. You want somebody who loves you as much as they love, as much as you love them. You want somebody who is, dotes on,
Kind,
yeah, kind, generous, that wants to work alongside of you, a
devoted,
good
loyal.
supporter,
Yeah.
so think about the things that it is that you want. Then don't hesitate to write those things down in a journal. This is
Yeah.
not a list for anybody else to see but yourself, right? So, write these lists down. Now, you've got the list, which is kind of like your creative part of, the yellow, getting excited about that. You get excited about talking about
Mhm.
somebody. How are you going to achieve this? What are you going to do? So how do you meet new people? Well, this day and age, social media, online, is that works for a lot of people. But I know that a lot of people are old school and they don't necessarily want to do that. I've got a single girlfriend. She's been single forever and she's so old school, but she will not do the online dating thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
but online dating can definitely, there's been some amazing successful relationships that have
Yeah.
come from that. You might have to swipe past a few frogs to get to your prince or princess, but it does make it easy. So put yourself out there is what is part of it, right?
Don't
So
live in your imagination.
yeah,
Okay,
it's always
I
worse
had
than what it
one
is in real life.
girlfriend
Yeah.
that was told by an intuitive that she will meet the love of her life, but she didn't do anything to create it. She was, like, expecting the person to come
You're
knocking on her door because he was gonna be the
sitting in bed and
repairman.
eating a bowl of Haagen-Dazs. It's not gonna happen like that, right? So you need to create some ways in which that you can find that love interest. So this might be, again, write down the list of things. It might be going online. Maybe it's going to coffee shops. Maybe
Yeah.
it's offering to buy somebody a drink at a bar. Maybe it's and maybe that's not an ideal scenario. I'm just providing some ideas to get you thinking outside of the box. Perhaps maybe you ask some friends to set you up on blind dates if they know anybody, that you're just putting yourself out there in a way that maybe you haven't before.
I have a single brother, by the way.
He's a great guy too. So, it's one of these things where you just start writing down that list, and that first 4 or 5 things is gonna be easy, but when you get to the 10 and the 15 and the 20, if you can even come up with that many ideas, that's where you're gonna start to get those creative juices flowing. Maybe you're gonna think of that one friend that's like, "Oh, maybe you know what? That person they mentioned," or maybe it's going on a vacation with a friend. Maybe it's looking up
Yeah.
a singles events in your areas. Like, I'm literally pulling these ideas out of thin air right now, and I'm not a single person. So if I can come up with these ideas, certainly, anybody who's single can start to think of different ways in which they can meet somebody. So that would be the first step. So once you've got your list of all the things that you're going to do, now it's picking up the phone, it's looking in the newspaper, or looking online for the different ways, calling your girlfriend and saying, "Hey, would you be open to setting me up?" So hopefully you can get the idea that this is, write down your list every day, maybe just put yourself out there a little bit in a different way than what you would have before. It's exercising those primary muscles, and then certainly you're going to be able to create that, green pink sort of frequency,
Vibe, yeah.
vibe that, comes from the turquoise energy, and then the love from the green, the blue, so those are my tips for on how to find love. But when it comes to having relationship, now I've been with my husband for over 31 years now. I think we just had our 25-year wedding anniversary last
Wow.
August.
Yeah.
So we've been together for a long time. We've grown up together. I was 18 when we got together, but I was like 13 when I met him. And certainly we've gone through, the ups and the downs in relationship. And one of the things I can tell you, and certainly the personality test helped us a lot because, like you said, when you have an understanding of how your partner is with you, my husband is a very green personality. So,
Mhm.
his love language, he loves little love notes and stuff like that. And I'm a little bit more, I'm a lot more left brain. So I tend to be a little more stoic. It's those things aren't important to me. Mine is more, I am more action oriented. I want to see, like, don't just show me,
Yeah.
tell me, like, or don't just tell me, I want to show me. Right. And that might be because I love organization, I love structure, and it might be like, honey, finish the fence in the backyard. Don't let the projects sit around the house that aren't finished, because then I get frustrated, So, and it's those things when you look at when you get frustrations in relationships, how can you eliminate some of those things that, sometimes, well, look at this little love bug. I don't know if you can see him in here, but he's just, he comes down to say hello. Hi there, Tex. It's when you realize those things that are in the relationship that can create friction in there, you want to do what you can to eliminate some of those little things. So having those conversations, where you can, those love conversations that are preemptively, not post. Don't hit it when it's in the heat of a moment when things are frictiony, but more in, hey, sitting down and having one of the things, this was one of the best counseling tips I'd ever have, was having a business meeting once a week and literally scheduling down a business meeting to get through. We've all got a business to run at home.
Yeah.
You've got, maybe you've got kids, but at the top of your list is setting a date night. Setting a date night once a week is so key to creating, some intimacy in a relationship. But in order for that date night to be successful, getting the matters of the household out of the way should not be part of your date night. So, you're setting up for your business meeting once a week. Top of the list is setting up a date night. Then you're going through organizing what's on the schedule for the week. What are the plans with the kids? Who's doing what? Where are we going? What are we
Yeah.
doing? What do we have to, what do we have to execute that week? All of that gets out of the way so that when you are actually having a date night, your date night is also something where you're sitting across the table from somebody. You're not sitting facing the same direction. So although it might be nice to maybe,
And you're not on your phone.
yeah, and you're not, it might be nice to go to a movie from time to time. Make sure that there's time to sit across the table, across from each other. We're able to have conversation and have discussions about intimacy and about relationships. So those are a few things that I've learned, just over the years from some really great counselors, some really great inspirational people that that we've put into our own relationship that's really, really helped. So, two great tips there. But
And
you go ahead.
I do want to say one other thing too, going back, because obviously both of us have found it helpful to understand, the colors of our mates,
Mhm.
because knowing that it's really helpful in that relationship. But one of the things we are going to be talking about later on with the test is also making love in color.
Mhm.
And we're going to touch a little bit on that today. But every color intelligence works with the love energy differently, both
Mhm.
physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And this is something that's really important, because if you have two different types of energies, like indigo people, they're always searching for their soul mate. That could be like a soul friendship, a soul partnership, a soul business.
Mhm.
So they're into that soul aspect. Whereas, when you have a green person, they just want to be the supporter for their partner.
Mhm.
They're in it, they're in the relationship to please their partner more than themselves.
Mhm.
So by understanding your colors and the colors of your mate also will help you understand more about other aspects. And Inger has written a book called Make Love in Color. So you actually bring the different colors in the bedroom and explore each other through the eyes of the different energies.
Which is exactly where I wanted to go next, because it's like now thinking about, we've got Love Day coming around next month. And
Yeah.
as a business, these are things that you can share in your business with your clients, but also for yourself. I always find that color energy is twofold. Like you can never get away with just, as a business aspect, you're always taking away personal components from it as well. So, when you are, working on this from your color perspective for your clients, you want to be able to pass some of these good ideas on to them. So how could you create more intimacy for Valentine's Day, or, for every day, really? But I mean, Valentine's Day is kind of a good time to inspire you to take some of these steps. So, when we're talking about a particular day, what are the things that, people like to do? So you talk about it, you get excited. Like, what is your partner like? What do you like? Like, what do you
Yeah.
want to do? And then let's start writing the list down about that. Do you want to do going out for a dinner? Do you want to do roses on the bed? Do you want to get champagne? Do you want to do chocolates? What is your partner like? What's his favorite meal? What's her favorite flower? Like,
Yeah.
really putting some thought into some of these ideas. Now, some of these ideas that I'm giving you, perhaps you have an online blog, or maybe you have social media presence. These are ideas, like, jot them down, because maybe you can say, maybe over the course of the next, few weeks and leading up until Valentine's, this can be sort of a bit of a marketing campaign that every day, tip number, 10 tips to enhance love and enhance the enhance the romance in
Yeah.
your relationship. Stay tuned. Tip number 10, tip number 9, tip number 8, tip number 7, do a countdown leading up to Valentine's. So these are the kinds of ideas that you can do to help draw business into your business. So what excites you? What excites your partner?
Yeah.
And then writing down those lists of things. And then, of course, it's just simple. It doesn't have to be long. Don't let your red energy prevent you from, if it's sitting at the lower rung, it doesn't have to be a long process. It's when you tend to wait for mañana is when those things get put off to the wayside, or if you get distracted easily, that's when things don't happen. But if you're excited about it and you're writing down your list, that is the prime time to actually execute and to take action on some of those things. So when you're wanting to, bring a little more love into that relationship, think about all the things that you love, all the things that your partner loves, and find a way to bring that together in the same time. And then from a business perspective, start sharing some of these ideas
Yeah.
with your clients, because when you are educating them, that then in turn comes back to you. You're helping them. It's going to come back to you. Well, how do I do that?
Yeah.
Well, how about we start with some of the products?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the
We'll be good
things
on
too,
sale this month too.
we want to talk about the pink energy, because when you make a display, and if you make a single color display, it will have an impact.
Yeah.
This is another thing all marketing research has shown. If you have a variety of colors on a display, the eyes don't go anywhere, because it's just like walking into a room and there's color everywhere. You're just trying to notice something.
Mhm.
Versus if you have a one color display, or maybe a two color display, maybe you want to spruce it up
Yeah,
with some
pink and
red.
red or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
exactly. But when you have that predominantly one color display, people will notice it. And this means that, with color energy products, have that pink display,
Impact.
and you can even make we have some pink kits already done up, but
Mhm.
you can literally just put everything pink on it, and think of things that, you promote in your own business, how you can elaborate on that. But
Yeah.
this month we have actually some of our pink tools on sale
Yeah.
for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we've got our pink roll-ons, which include nope, not those ones.
Well, we have the Love is in the Air,
Yeah,
right?
Love is in the Air, the Skin Renew, and then both sizes of the Unconditional Love Spray. And then we've actually added into our chakra chipstone bracelets and necklace and anklet, but that's the Divine Love. That is the
That is,
Unconditional. Oh, no, you're right. You've got the right one. Perfect. So, love. Thank you. So, and the oils that are in here too are like the Unconditional Love Spray, just to touch on this one
Yeah.
too, because we are working with alchemy when we're working with the Unconditional Love essences. So these are programmed with planetary alignment, geometric patterns, crystalline energy, sound vibration. I don't know if you can hear, but there's crystals actually in the bottle. So when you work with one frequency, and you actually described this better, but one frequency, it's to the power of 1.
Yeah.
But 2, it's to the power of 3.
Yeah.
And then if you put in 3, to
the power of 10.
10. Okay.
And it keeps amplifying. So in a lot of our products, there's a lot that goes into each formulation to increase the vibration multidimensionally.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just a physical tool, it works both physically and energetically. And this is why a lot of our products are in spray form, because when you're actually spraying the aura, what you're doing is you're actually embedding the molecules of the essence multidimensionally to your physical body. And we're working with different senses because obviously the sense of touch, when the molecules of the oils and the essence fall on your body,
The smell.
the smell, even looking at the label that's color coded, you're bringing in that pink energy. They've proven this scientifically, Danielle. I don't know if you heard me say this, but they did research where people were fed either a blue pill or a red pill. The pills were placebos. There was nothing in the pill other than the pill was coded in the color. And they found that the people who took the blue pill said they felt more calm and sedated. People who took the red pill felt more energized and invigorated. But yet it was identical. It was
The
just a
placebo.
sugar pill.
Yeah.
It was the placebo effect. But it's about the color, because as soon as your eyes focus on something, which again, what we're doing is we're encompassing the sense of sight when you're looking at the label, and you're stimulating that vibration through your optic center.
And the
Plus,
geometric patterns.
unconditional love, has the heart on it. So, just again, instilling that love vibration.
And all the words that we speak, of course, like
Yeah.
we're affirming as we're saying things. So all of our marketing with our products has been very, very intentionally done so that it is, that you are attracting the frequencies of what you're putting out. So when you say and you see and you look at the color, you're looking at the geometric pattern that's on here. I don't know if you can see those. But you can see that there is, programming right down into every little aspect of these products. So,
Yeah.
great tools to use, great tools to pass on to your customers. You can actually pull images from our online shopping site. So if you want to use any of these tools for your online marketing, and then maybe doing that 10-day countdown of, 10 tips to reconnect with your loved one, your spouse, or significant other. Yeah.
Amp up your love vibe,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So take some of these ideas, run with them, share them with your customers, become the authority on, a place for knowledge and information, because we know that whenever somebody provides education or information, when they're of help, when they are
Yeah.
of service,
Yeah.
that you then become that person that they rely on for more information.
And even make little place cards, with the product that educates people, because not everybody can read the fine print on products. We try to, maximize our print size, but we're also trying to maximize the amount of content we put on there. But when you actually have little place cards that give people some ideas on the energy that is behind the product, they're more apt to buy it too. Because again, education will help to increase a person's awareness, which then increases the potential that they'll buy the product from you.
Yeah.
So the unconditional love is great for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We have the Love is in the Air roll-on. So you can roll it on like a perfume, or the Love is in the Air diffuser mix, which is 100% pure oils that you just put in
Skin
your
renew.
diffuser. Yeah.
Just love your skin, because if you
Yeah.
anything that you've ever had as skin
Oh,
conditions,
yeah.
whether it's anything from a blemish to burnt your hand on the stove to razor burn to
Yeah.
you name it, it's just like love in the air. It's just love for your, or not love is in the air, but
Skin
skin renew
renew.
is just like love for your skin, 'cause
Yeah.
it's just
And the winter season,
dry cracked skin.
our Skin Renew is lip love. Okay.
Oh,
I'm telling you, it is so repairing to the lips, because with the blast of cold weather
no
that
kidding.
we had, I found my lips a bit chapped. And every night I've been putting on the
Maybe like
Skin
that
Renew,
rose oil in
and
there.
I mean, they're
Mhm.
they're feeling good. Good for the kisses.
Go see Nikolai. Well, and just all of these products that we've mentioned, just in as a final point too, is that they're all on for 25% off right now when you buy them in increments of 6s. So just enough to, give you a nice little hearty section, even whether if you're wanting to teach a class, or whether you're wanting to do home parties, or if you're selling it into a store. So
And sell kits too, like the roll-on Love is in the Air with the
yeah,
diffuser mix. So this way, again, people have that body blend that they can apply to their
gift
body,
kits.
and make
Yeah.
little kits out of it, and, put a little pink gemstone in it. Like, sky's the limit. Be creative, and, again, make it an all-encompassing display that has a ton of pink stuff on it.
Yeah. And that sale goes on until February 14th. So has anybody got any questions at this point so far? It looks like we might have a couple here. So, okay. How can we get the book? Oh, how can you make the book, Making Love in Color? Well, should we
Yeah,
talk a
we're
little
in
bit more about that part?
well, it's I mention it.
Mm.
It's in the process of being translated. It's on our list of priorities, but right now we have some other priorities that are taking precedence.
But why don't you talk a little bit about what's in the book then? Because that was one piece that we haven't actually touched in yet. So
Well, again,
share a few little more tips.
yeah, well, it's again, make love in color. And so because, for example, I'm a yellow violet, when it comes to in the bedroom, I'm getting a little personal here, guys, but in the bedroom, I'm very, very curious. Okay. So I like to understand how things work. And so I'm the type of person, I like the lights on, I like to explore. And that violet energy is that, that spiritual connection. I have to know that I'm with
Mhm.
somebody who, is just beyond the physical, that I have some really great conversations with. However, because I'm low in the green, I'm not the kind of
You're not a
person.
nurturer.
I'm not like,
Nikolai's not getting a massage, that's for sure.
well, and he's a red person, so that's a totally different type of
He's
style.
very probably physically connected.
Yeah, yeah, but he's got a lot of orange, so he likes to
Mm.
play in the bedroom.
Mhm.
So for me being curious and him being playful, it's a great match because we complement each other.
Side note, okay, like these are your bosses, right? So it's like, but you have to, it's through experience, it's through our own experiences that we can actually help and make relatable for everybody else, right? So it's like, there's an element of it's like, okay, this is really weird, but there's another element of it's like, I get it. Like, it's just part of who we are.
Yeah.
And each person is a little bit different. So how can you bring that fun and that playfulness into your relationship? Because, you know, when you have a I don't want to say how do you get personal without getting too personal? This is my blue personality, right? So it's like I'm a little more private when it comes to this stuff. So, it's a but
Anyways,
stuck in a blue moment here.
it's what I've read of the book so far is pretty interesting and very informative. And again, it's about educating people because if you are a green person, you want the romantic dinners, you
Yeah.
want the hand holding, but the act of sex itself is not something that you're as comfortable with compared to somebody who is more more where their energy is a little bit more predominant in having to have sex, right?
Well, I think
In a
too,
way.
what we're talking about, earlier was about exercising the different muscles and in that, how that can be as far as your color personality goes,
Yeah.
is trying different things, trying to explore different elements of, are you going to be more spiritually connected one time? Maybe you're going to be a little more playful, a little bit more exploratory another time. Maybe you're going to be
Yeah.
more nurturing. Like, how much of a nice surprise would that be for Nikolai to say, you know what, I'm just going to give you a massage tonight because your green energy is a little bit low and he's not used to that. What a nice surprise that would be for your partner. So when you understand what your partner's energy, and Chris is the same way too, because he's
Yeah.
very loving. Like I get lots of massages and stuff like that, but it's like that's not necessarily my energy, but I know that that's how he probably would like to get some love too. So, I'm kind of preaching to myself as I'm going here too, because again, this
Yeah.
is about, how can you make that connection with your partner is understanding their love language and how do they want to be treated, and starting to put more in. Again, you're helping, you're being of,
Yeah.
of service, you're wanting to please your partner. That means that you have to love them in the way that they choose and that they would want to be loved, not in the way that you would want to be
That's
loved.
right.
So this is, exercising those different aspects of your personality so that you can try some different things
Yeah.
and keep it creative and keep it fun and playful, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you're loving one day, maybe you're more more exploratory another day.
Yeah.
And that is all just going to help to create some creativity and some different times in the boudoir.
Yeah. And we talk about this in the master program as well. We go
Mhm.
into the different things, or the different characteristics of each energy all around.
Mhm.
Because to really understand energy, you have to understand these things, and what I love about this whole business is because I'm lacking in the orange and the green, unconsciously, I picked friends that were
Mhm.
higher in those
Me
energies,
too.
and this is the beauty of it. Even if I don't have that energy necessarily myself, as long as I'm surrounding myself with that energy in some form, I will then be able to be more complete because I'm working with the energy around
Yeah.
me as
Well,
well.
it forces you to be, my orange is my lowest. I think
Yeah.
you're orange green or green orange or
Yeah.
whatever. And it just you surround yourself around spontaneous, fun people and
Oh,
stuff,
I
and
know.
you have a tendency to be more spontaneous and more fun and more creative. It's just
I
you can't
know.
help it.
My orange girlfriend said, "Hey, you want to come to Arizona next week?" And it was like, no. I mean, this is her. She's so spontaneous,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And anyways, I mean, I wish sometimes I had more orange. Anyways,
So
yeah.
we're
So,
we're right on schedule here right now. So we're about 1:15, and we've got just a few more things to go over here. We've got about another 45 minutes of class, and so feel free to keep answering in your questions at this point. Is there anything that anybody wanted to ask about personality
yeah.
traits and
Yeah. Oh, Ingerness did write this book. And Ingerness, of course, is our mentor in regards. She's actually the color queen. I'm the
Mm.
color princess.
I guess that makes me the jester.
No, you're also a color princess. But anyways, she wrote the book, and she's a fascinating woman. And I wait till you read the book because it's just sort of like, okay, she knows her stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was one of the questions. And then the next one, can your personality change over years?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because remember, you grow as a person. What was important to you as a child is going to be different, as you grow up, because you're going to learn different tools
Mhm.
that will just help develop your personality more so. With myself, my main two energies have been pretty well consistent, but whenever there's a big life matter that's gone on in my life,
Yeah.
another energy comes into third place. And I totally get it. Like whenever I've reflected during those time periods, I can understand why the energies shifted, and there's so many things that affect who you are. But, to understand yourself, sort of, how do I want to describe it? But usually it's not like a totally flip, but it is that, the energies might change slightly because
I think you nailed it when you said, life-changing experiences can really catapult things because
Mhm.
this last test that I did for myself was probably one of the biggest changes that I've seen in myself. My violet's never been at the top, and that is my predominant energy now. And I think that's something that happens probably with age as well, right?
Yeah.
We tend to become more in touch with the more spiritual side of ourselves and the more of service side of ourselves,
Yeah.
whereas, you're maybe a little bit um more about yourself, as you're
Yeah.
growing up and, in your 20s and whatnot, and or even I mean, you meet a lot of orange people, but it's that experience of, maybe you haven't been in a relationship for a long time and now you are in a relationship. Well, you're gonna tend to be a little bit more loving in that relationship than maybe what you typically were.
Yeah.
So unless there's been something that's, majorly life-changing, like Suzanne said, you tend to not have so many changes. So my personality my top two colors as I've done multiple tests over the years, but this was definitely a big change. But, there's been a lot of changes over the last few years that have really catapulted that to happen and really recognize the importance of
Yeah.
helping in this world. And so I think, if we had more people doing those sorts of things, we would see a lot. Color creates the variety though too, right? How
Yeah.
boring would this world be if everybody was exactly the same? But certainly exercising all those muscles
Yeah.
so that we are all able to tap into those different aspects of ourselves, that we're not just thinking from one energy is what's key.
Well, and here's another example too, because if you go from one profession to a totally different
Mhm.
profession, your energy is going to shift accordingly as well.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I found. My blue came a lot higher when I started when I started writing more, and getting into teaching more.
Yeah.
That blue energy really got heightened and I had to focus on it.
Yeah.
Now it's been, strong for several years now,
Yeah.
but it wasn't my super strength. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in more of a creative role versus an administrative role, like your energy's there, you're just going to be working those muscles differently, right?
Yeah.
You think differently. So
Absolutely.
perfect.
Okay, so now what we're going to be talking about is an energy blend versus a therapy blend versus a mood blend, because obviously we have different types of aromatherapy products.
Yep.
And there's a method to our madness because because we've created these different tools as our company's grown, but we did it deliberately. So we have our energy blends, and our energy blends are based on your energy centers. Plus, of course, we incorporate the turquoise, which is referred to as the eighth chakra, and then the pink that is the ninth chakra. And so we focus mainly on the 9 colors because to go beyond to make a silver and a gold with aromatherapy is a little bit more difficult because we're talking about, earth energies. That's one way I describe it. But we made the energy blends as an all-encompassing blend for your body, mind, and spirit. You can use them however you want, meaning if you need the red energy, just grab the red energy blend and you have it. But as our company grew and we ended up purchasing Ashbury's Aromatherapy, they had a line of therapy products. And, they had their headache blend, they had the skin renew, they had the immune booster, and a few others. But when I looked at the recipe, I saw that the oils that were in these different blends were specific to a color vibration, like skin renew, because pink is a cosmic energy. Of course, this is great for the skin because on an anti-aging level, pink is actually an anti-aging frequency. It's a cosmic energy. It's not an earthbound energy. So it's really good for skin repair. So that's one example. We have our immune booster that had all these beautiful turquoise oils in it. And turquoise is the ultimate frequency for the immune system. So as I saw these different recipes, at the same time, we got involved with the biopulsar reflexograph. And I could see that there was common symptoms in every single energy center. So for example, one of the biggest complaints for the red or the red energy center, the root chakra, was fatigue. People who lack red energy often feel fatigue. So we created, the Chi blend specifically for that intention. Okay. Then we decided we wanted to make some body perfumes. And so that was sort of the development of the Color Your Mood blend, where we were attacking more of the emotional side and we wanted to create moods that people had. So that's why in the mood blend line, we have all these really fun names that really depict the mood versus the therapy blends. We're going after specific symptoms relating to every chakra. And we have many more blends than what we list, but we do that more in our private branding program. So for example, we have our sleep blend. Well, that's an indigo blend. It's got a lot of indigo oils in there because indigo enhances the pineal gland, which is the gland that secretes the melatonin to help people sleep. So eventually we're going to be expanding our therapy blend, and we have been doing it over the years. But needless to say, the therapy blends are for specific symptoms, but they're all interchangeable. If I'm traveling and I only have one of my red energy blends and I know I need more energy, it doesn't matter what the name is. All I have to do is look at the label and see the color and know, okay, this one is for my red energy. This is going to give me motivation, drive, that burst of energy, that chi that I need. So,
or the help to just be able to it. Sometimes it's not just about the race, it's about the marathon, right? To be able to know if you're going to be pulling an all-nighter, or are you going to be up for a long period of time, you need that recharge every a couple of times during the day.
Yeah, like the little red train that could, right? It kept going and going and going up that hill. It was the red energy that it needed to take it up the hill.
You'll find too, usually around 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when your liver gets the most fatigued. And so sometimes that's when people often go for a cup of coffee. And so if you can train yourself to not, because coffee, you get the high, but then you also get the crash afterwards. So using tools like, your get up and go, putting them on the bottoms of your feet, doing some feet stomping, getting some circulation going, doing some boso ball bouncing, like if you've got one of those big balls, doing some big heavy bounces on there. But even you can always just sit at your chair. We always get our stomping going. And we know when somebody's got low red energy is when they tend to they just do like like a little lackadaisical stomp, or that they're not able to carry their stomp for a long time. So, push yourself through, stomp your feet, hold the clock, and don't give up, and go as fast as you can for at least, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and extend your time every time that you do it. If you find that you've got cold, circulation issues, if you find that you're feeling fatigued halfway through the day, a little bit of boost of this, breathing it in deeply a few times, doing some foot stomping, maybe a couple of, stand up and do a couple jumping jacks and a couple of affirmations to yourself, guaranteed you'll feel
Yeah.
that energy. So your red energy, physical energy, get your body moving, do have that sensory experience, a couple of affirmations to get the mind trained into that field as well, and you'll definitely get your body going again.
Yeah. So again, I want to reiterate what Danny just said. When your hands and your feet are cold, it means you're low in red energy. When you get fatigued mid-afternoon, it's throughout the whole day.
Mhm.
And once I learned the language of light, I can tell you, I used to actually get those lulls in the afternoon. I rarely ever get
Mhm.
them. And on occasion, when I do, I know right away, okay, I've got to boost up my root chakra. I got to feed it some red energy, get that red,
Mhm.
that red medicine in. And it once I do that, then my energy is good to go again,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I just wanted to explain the difference between our 3 different aromatherapy lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you say about the percentage difference, like the 20 and
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, so all our blends are in jojoba, so they're ready for body
Mhm.
application. The our energy blend line is at a 20% ratio, meaning it's 20% pure essential oils with 80% jojoba, which makes it safe for younger people as well as any age.
Good.
Versus our therapy blends are at a 30% because they're for therapy. So we give a little bit extra
Little
oil
stronger
in it.
dose. Mhm.
So it's a stronger dosage because obviously when we want to heal a specific symptom, 30% is the therapeutic application, where 20% is quite high. A lot of companies that are out there do aromatherapy blends with
Oh, yeah,
only
10%.
10% oil in them.
Yeah.
So
And same with the mood blends. The mood blends are at a 20% as well. But there's something when I first started working here, you taught me about the therapy blends, is that how they're color coded, but sometimes there's a little bit of method to the madness where there's might be a color from a different frequency that is in with the therapy blends. So
for a
it
reason.
might not be specifically all one particular color. And a good example is, say, the Digest and Detox, where it's predominantly yellow oils, but we've added some black pepper in there, which has helped to give a little bit of fire energy so that the digestive system can get going again.
Who here has done the master program? Put your hand up. Okay. So then if you actually refer to the master program, which is a great program for detoxifying, it's all about the yellow vibration, but they have you take black pepper capsules, which is the Kickstarter for the fire element. And we've done the same thing with our Digest and Detox. It's
Mhm.
all yellow oils with that splash of black pepper just to ignite the
Well,
stomach.
and if you look at turmeric, if you look at any recipes with turmeric, they always say that it needs to be activated with black pepper. So turmeric doesn't work if it doesn't have a crack of black pepper in there. So if you're
Mhm.
putting that either into a smoothie or into a sauce or
Yeah.
whatever it might be, and so your turmeric is yellow as well. So it's another perfect example of that. And likewise too, I think with our chi energy, we also have some orange oils in there, because for a lot of people, it's very difficult to feel physically uplifted if they don't feel emotionally uplifted. So, or even vice versa. So, I think with the orange anxiety release, we've got predominantly orange oils, but a little bit of fire energy in there too with the vanilla.
Yeah.
So it's, some of those crossing of the recipes, it's to help people who, it's one thing to feel physically uplifted, but if you're feeling emotionally drained and emotionally struggling, the two kind of go hand in hand. So they don't have the same pure color coding that, say, the energy blends have. So the energy blends are very clean in their frequency in just one color. Think of paint colors. You're not mixing your paint colors.
Yep.
Whereas the therapy blend, there's a very specific methodology that's happening there so that it can help support the predominant frequencies that they are working with. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the mood blends, I think we've had some fun with those too. So they are a little bit more, there's a little bit of mixing to some of those frequencies as
Yeah.
well. And again, it's about, how we're stimulating our mind and our spiritual side of ourselves. And um,
Well, and we understand the body system as well. Plus, we also understand plant medicine
mhm,
because we have to look at the fact that an essential oil that is gathered from the flower top is different than if it's gathered from the roots. It could be the same oil. Like if we look, we have cinnamon leaf and we have cinnamon bud
or look at
or
sweet.
cinnamon bark. I'm sorry.
Yeah, or
Clove. I
sweet
would think
orange,
clove. Yeah.
the bitter orange, which is, so sweet orange is the inside, the bitter orange is the rind, and neroli, which would be the flower.
Yeah.
So, all of these aspects, there's a little bit of different healing to all of them.
Yeah. And again, that's what we're the experts on, is because we actually have in-house aromatherapists that are also energetically trained.
Perfect.
Okay.
So coming into the orange
Oh,
energy.
we didn't talk about this one
Oh, you
yet.
didn't?
No,
I thought you did
let's
because you were saying about the
Yeah,
the
but
red.
this one is get up and go.
Okay, well,
I
you
didn't
go.
talk about that one.
You get up and go, girl.
I'll get up and go. So what we're doing is we're just going to go through our mood blends. We call them color your mood because literally that's what we're doing, is we're
Yeah.
coloring your mood. And we're going to talk about each one, plus we're going to talk about any variables in the application, because there are some variables in application. Now, with all the mood blends, as well as our therapy blends and our energy blends, you can apply them directly to the chakra points or the chakra region.
Androgynous zones are good as well.
Oh, yes, of course, which you're going to be talking about. But you can also, for example, with the get up and go, which is part of the mood blend line, roll that on your spine. Okay, up and down your spine. And if you need somebody to help you do that, as well as the soles of the feet. And in fact, I always let everyone know, if you don't like an essential oil, don't drink it. Like there's, you don't have to put it around this area here. You can actually put it on the soles of your feet. Within 15 seconds of putting an essential oil blend on your body, it's carried into your bloodstream. Now, I want to make a point here. All our body blends, whether it's Color Your Mood or, our therapy
Energy.
blends or the energy blends, we put it in a carrier because the intention of the carrier is to carry it into the body. If you put pure oil on your skin, for one, you can burn your skin. Half the oils are acidic in nature. Okay. Just so you know, 80% of oils we cannot ship overseas by airplane because they're considered flammable. They're acidic in nature. So we have to understand 80% of oils, if you put them topically on the skin and you have very sensitive skin, you will burn your skin. I actually put somebody else's, before I got into aromatherapy oil, I did buy another company's oil and I put 1 drop of peppermint under my nose. And for 10 years, my nose kept peeling right there. Okay. It was so harsh, I burnt my skin and all the way through the layers. It was so painful. So I'm really, adamant about we should always cut oils with a carrier. Now, there are some oils that are a natural carrier, but those are your resin oils like your frankincense and myrrh. You don't necessarily need to cut those.
Well, lavender and tea tree are the other two that are
neat.
Can be worn neat on the skin.
But if you actually apply lavender or tea tree to your skin, you will see they dissipate almost instantaneously once exposed to air. And again, this is another reason why you need a carrier, because if these oils are more delicate to oxygen, then they will evaporate quite quickly without your body actually utilizing them. So we do use jojoba oil in all our bases because jojoba replicates the skin's natural oil. Okay.
It's most like the human skin cell.
Yeah, exactly. So the get up and go is just like our other blends, like we have the chi energy as well as the red energy. They're all intended to rev up your root chakra, give you that physical strength and vitality. And this is why rolling it on your spine is really helpful, because then what you're doing is you're activating the neural fluid that goes up your spine to the brain. And that's what you want. You want to energize every one of your vertebra and the blood that's going up your body, as well as your neural fluid. So this is really good for strengthening your chi. And like I said, put it on the soles of your feet. And what I tell everyone is I actually roll it on the top of my feet. And then, so I'll put it example.
On the top of one and then
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
roll it on the top of one of my foot, and then I put the sole of my other foot on top, so I get it underneath that foot, and then I reverse it where I put it on top of my, the top of my other foot, and then again, I rub my sole on top of the top of the foot. So I'm actually getting underneath and on top, because there are mini chakras both under the feet and on top of the feet. Okay?
And the other thing too is the bottoms of your feet have got the largest pores than anywhere else on your body. So when you, like I know, for instance, we talk about Holy Grail all the time. It's one of my absolute favorite products. But when the oils in there are very, very therapeutic, but the smell is not for everybody because it's really earthy. So if you're not a big fan of the smell, then put something underneath your feet. And a lot of people, they tend to repel red. A lot of people are pushed away from red. Maybe they don't, for whatever reason it is, they're used to cool and calmer sorts of colors. So if there's something that you're not drawn to, but you know that it's an area that you need to work on, bottoms of feet is a really great way to do it because it's obviously not so close to the senses, but you're still able to get that nice deep treatment in there.
Yeah.
So
And with most of our blends, we do recommend that you put it on your wrists as well as over your thymus gland. So you actually then absorb that, the color frequency as well as the essential oils into your immune system.
mhm.
Okay.
So next up, we always spend a little bit more time on the red because it's like the foundation of your house. And if you don't have a solid foundation, then the rest of it doesn't even really tend to make sense. So always make sure that you're practicing on your red. And you can do this as a timeline throughout the day as well. So you can start your day with the red. Think about coffee break in the afternoon, or your first coffee break in the morning. Maybe you want to do a little bit of orange energy. You're getting creative at work. You've got to start thinking of new ways to do different things. Yellow, in the middle of the day, you're getting a little hungry. You want some help with the digestion. So you're going to have your yellow for lunch. And then afterwards, you're getting ready to go home from work and, you're going to go home and be with family. So you go into the green energy, and then blue, you're getting a little bit more down into the evening and you're getting did I already say blue? No. Did I ever say blue? No, I didn't say
No.
blue yet. So blue energy, you're at home, you're
Relaxing,
relaxing at home, getting
calming.
ready for a shower, getting ready for bed at that time. And then indigo, you're going more into that dream state. And then violet, even more so.
Further,
So those last couple of colors you can just do off before you go to bed at night. So you can actually color code your entire day. But coming back into that, earlier part, the orange energy, this one is called Garden of Eden, Power of Seduction, a really great way to have some fun, again, in the androgynous zones behind your kneecaps, and all those little
On your
places,
belly.
the nape of the back and
Lower
stuff
belly.
too. Yeah. But as far as, we know when we're working with the sacral area, and this is an area where I do struggle. This is orange is my lowest energy. I can certainly go there, but it's not my easiest energy, right? So my blue does, as you saw earlier, tends to dominate over the orange, right? So, but the orange energy definitely helps you to cut loose, have fun, be creative, and it's a really beautiful smell. It's almost kind of like creamsicles is what it
Yeah.
reminds me of, vanilla and orange mixed together. So, and then there is actually a little bit of a lighter variation of our orange. So you can see the colors are just ever so slightly one lighter than the other. And this is our yoga. So orange energy is also the most flexible of all colors too. So when you look at, I remember when my grandma with her vertigo, I was doing a treatment and was doing an orange treatment on her hand, and it was for the vertigo. However, she has arthritis in her hands. And so when I did the light therapy treatment on her, she typically couldn't make a fist past this. And after doing a, 10-minute light therapy treatment on her, she was able to make a fist that was right down. And I had just used a few orange oils and the orange pen light.
Yeah.
And she was so excited that she hadn't been able to make a fist like this in so long. And I think you've had an experience as well where you did light therapy on somebody who couldn't stand up straight after being in a car accident, and after working on their sciatic with the orange light and the orange oils, that they literally stood up up to the table after 15-minute treatment or something.
Yeah.
So, the orange energy is the most flexible of all the colors. So we've got the yoga blend, and again, more of the orange oils, just a different combination of them, again, to help with that mobility and that flexibility.
Yeah.
Take it away, yellow.
Okay, this is Smarty Pants. This is one that I absolutely love because, for one, I just love so many of the yellow oils, and being a high yellow, I use a lot of yellow energy. And this is another thing, when you understand the language of light and you know, for example, you're predominant in one energy, chances are you're using a lot of that energy. And when you use a lot of that energy, sometimes you abuse it. So with myself, I know I always like that mental stimulation. So Smarty Pants is just, to me, a beautiful one. I always roll it a little bit under my nose to get that mental stimulation. And again, putting it on your wrist pulse points, on your thymus gland. Sky's the limit as to how you want to use it. You can also put a little bit on your temples here, and you could do it sort of like the headache blend where you put it around your brain. Okay, just for that mental stimulation.
The gut is really important with this one though too, because I mean, obviously it's working with the solar plexus, and we know that the gut and the brain are so tightly connected.
Absolutely.
So when the gut is toxic, the brain doesn't think properly. We get blocked, if we get blocked up here, we get blocked up here. So that's why it's important to keep clean diet. And the recipe in this one has got lemon and grapefruit and bergamot, champa and Litsea cubeba. So these are all detoxifying oils that are going to help to clear the gut barrier so that the mind can think more clearly. So
Yeah.
often if you feel like you've got mental block, this is a really great tool to work with. Rolling it onto the solar plexus, certainly over the forehead, like Suzanne had said, is going to help to unblock some of those areas. And I also feel too, like the nice thing with the forehead is
Yeah.
that, our pineal gland gets very blocked because of a lot of, things are spraying in the skies
Yeah.
and genetically modified foods and all these different ways in which we're bombarded. So it can be a little bit of a detox here as well, just clearing the gut and
Yeah.
then giving that, third eye a little bit of extra help to decalcify that pineal gland.
Yeah. So really good also for digestive support.
Smarty
Again,
pants.
they're all interchangeable, which I love.
Yeah. Forest fantasy. So green personality. We all know that like when a lot of us are in nature, we feel more connected. It's that green energy. And this is just bringing a little bit of the forest, home. And so taking this, doing the breath work again, and just taking a few minutes to be like as if you were in the forest. It just takes you down. It grounds you, just helps to calm you. So when things are a little bit hairy, a little bit chaotic, just it's like if you can't get away for a walk in nature, this is a really great little way to escape for a few minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
And on the heart too, of course.
And in the turquoise, because we were talking about 2024 being a turquoise year, this is called metamorphosis. It's a very transformative recipe. And again, keywords: change, renewal, evolution. Okay, so really, really dynamic words. I always think of metamorphosis as you're going through a stage of your life where you're, hibernating in a
change.
cocoon,
Mhm.
and you're going to come out the other end a butterfly. So for me, this is really good for that renewal, that growth period in your life.
Yeah. And then we've also got two recipes, and this was, I think, just sort of a happenstance where we ended
Yeah.
up with two recipes that ended up in the blue because we had an old recipe and then we created a new recipe, and we're like, well, they're both popular and we couldn't figure out which one to do. So we ended up doing Sweet Serenity and Relax and Renew. And they're just two completely different variations of blue energy. Again, really great for calming the mind. Cool, calm, collected is the best way to describe these
Yeah.
ones. So they're just two different recipes to choose from. And they're both equally popular. So I think we've got I can actually give you some of the oils that are listed on this one here. Oops, wrong ones. So the Sweet Serenity has got geranium, bergamot, spruce, and blue chamomile, really calming. And then do we have, oh yeah, Relax and Renew has got lavender, clary sage, bergamot, and frankincense. So
Yeah.
it looks like the Relax and
The
Renew has got a
relax-
little more method, like a little more
Yeah.
mixing up there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, take it away with Soul Purpose.
Okay. So in the indigo, for the color your mood, it's soul purpose and inner reflection. And soul purpose is really the intention of finding your own soul purpose or anything on that soul level. Because again, there's, soul mission, soul purpose, soul mate, soul friends. So this just helps to enhance that purpose or that soul type of energy. And a lot of people are looking for what their soul purpose is in life. So this was actually the reason why we created it, is to just help attune people to that vibration. And with this one, we have the frankincense and myrrh. And, when we talk about the biblical blends, these were known as commodities, like a staple. It's sort of like something everybody should have in their cabinet. And I think part of it was connecting you to spirit, because when you're connected to spirit, then of course it's easier for you to find your way.
Mhm. And it doesn't come off far with Om, which is a mantra for the soul. And this has also got some similar oils that are happening with the soul purpose. But when we stop and we go into sound vibration, Om, there is a frequency, and this is an attract. Um, when we open up that crown chakra, that's where we get an endless amount of ideas, and a lot of people feel uh, blocked in many areas,
Yeah.
whether they're blocked in their business or relationship or whatever it might be, but they're blocked. So how do we get those ideas? And it's about clearing the mind. And I know a lot of people have a hard time meditating and
Yeah.
whatnot. So this is a great tool to help with meditation, great for when you're going to sleep, to have an induced dream state where you're having more vivid dreams, because a lot of those ideas come through when you're dreaming. Have a journal next to your bed before you go to bed at night too. It's a great way, because when you recall your dreams, then you can start to look up, also
Yeah.
looking at the time that you wake up in the morning, so that way maybe you can look up you can look up angel numbers, biblical verses, of the timestamps that you're waking up, or if you're waking up in the middle of the night, because those are often messages for you too. So don't miss those little marks of things that happen, that they're not just by mistake, but
And I want to share, because we've put keywords on the front.
Mhm.
So when you're using that oil, the intention is that you can pick up on some words that you can use as part of your intention statement.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe there's so much power in affirmations, that if you're using one of the Color Your Mood or any of our products for a specific purpose, say an intention that goes with it. So this way, again, what you're doing is you're amping up that vibe. Okay. Now on the pink, because of Valentine's Day, this is one of my favorites. Love is in the air, and my mom came up with the enhance the romance.
Mhm.
We had a contest here where when we were naming
Coming up
them,
with all the
yeah.
names, it's
So
fun.
staff, family, friends were all involved in this. But enhance the romance. It's all about, again, that pink energy, and sky's the limit, because this to me is just an all-purpose blend that's not only just for the love of your partner, but also that self-love. When we talk about the pink ray, when we're hard on ourselves, it's because we're not loving ourselves enough. So anything of the pink energy is also for self-nourishment, self-love, self-worth.
And then we've created two recipes that are for all encompassing. So we've got a rainbow power blend and also the white light. And the difference is the rainbow power, which was our original all-encompassing 7 chakra recipe. So there's 7 different essential oils in here, one from each one of the chakras, one of the color energy colors. So again, you're getting an all-encompassing blend. If you don't have the opportunity to go through and do all of the chakras, it's a great way just to kind of get an all over tune up from all your colors. You can use them directly on all the zones if you need them, kind of a little bit of everything going on. And again, doing that breath work. White light is one of my favorite recipes still to date. This has got 16 different essential oils in it. This is probably our most expansive recipe that we have. You can also get this in sprays and also the diffuser mix. So I just really love this one, because it goes way above and beyond just the 7 rays of colors. We've got every
Yeah.
color in here, and it's just such a beautiful all-encompassing smell. So I feel like this one just really takes me away.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do private branding on any of our therapy blends or the
Yeah.
Color Your Mood, it's the white light that, to me, I think really reflects it all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you can't have perfect harmony without that white light is a reflection of all 7 color energies in equal proportion. So you're either working with the rainbow or with the white light, you are definitely going to get a full broad spectrum of all of those 7 color energies.
Yeah. And for the month of January, our Color Your Mood blends and mixes are on sale. Again, 25% off.
Mhm.
Okay. And we do private branding even on our sale products. So again, it's a great time to do private branding if you're interested in that. Oh, forgot one.
Missed one. Yeah.
Oh, missed one.
Oh.
Oh.
So this is the medieval times, and this is probably one of our top sellers, I would think.
Mhm.
Medieval times, I have to say that we've also got them in sprays and diffuser mix as well. This little family of products. First off, I think I love our name on this one. When we originally came out with it, we had called it Thieves Remedy.
Yeah.
And apparently Young Living owns the right to all the name Thieves on everything. So even though theirs is for Thieves and ours was Thieves Remedy, apparently they own the rights. And there's a lot of other products out there that are Thieves, but I guess being a wholesaler, we were giving them a little more run for their money. So we had to change the name. And so we came up with Medieval Times. And if you know the history of this recipe, there should be 7 oils in this recipe. And I believe our competitor only has 5 oils in the recipe. And one of the missing oils was thyme oil, spelled Thymes. So a little tongue in cheek there on our play on our name of Medieval Times. And I love this recipe. And I will say when we had, the pandemic hit and everything, this family of products is what kept us in business. We had so many people that were looking for an alternative for natural hand sanitizer, room deodorizer, surface cleaners and stuff. And I'm a believer in natural immunity.
Yeah.
I know you are as well. And so this was a really nice alternative to people to using the chemicals that were causing a lot of problems on their hands and on their skin and whatnot.
Yeah.
So this little family of products, when nothing else was selling because businesses were closed and it was, markets and that sort of thing, it was Medieval Times that became our absolute #1 bestseller and still is today. So it's a natural immune booster. And again, you're using it on your hands. You can put this underneath your nose if you feel like you're starting to come down with a cold. Bottoms of feet is really great. And again, just
For
anywhere
anything.
that you feel that you might need it, it is just a really great go-to when you're feeling fatigued, your immune system is a little bit low. If you're traveling, definitely make sure that you're using some on your hands for travel. Just a really great go-to recipe for anything that you want that's just cleansing. And I'm going to give a
The
little
spray, you
I
can
was just going
clean
to say a little
knives
shout
and
out.
forks and toilets, so when you're in public areas,
Totally, I was going to say
it's
shout out
always in
for
my purse whenever I travel.
yeah, if you think about buggies, shopping carts, and that sort of thing, I always think of like kids that are like putting their
And
chewing on that.
drooling.
Yeah, exactly. So, just a great way we all need a little extra immune boosting every now and then. So it's a great tool to use for that. And of course, all of these products can be private branded. I think you mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And so something to consider is just taking these products and making them your own. All of our marketing, um, you know, all of our wording that's on these products is there for you to be able to use. If you're thinking about doing something new this year, this is a great tool to consider. We wanted to go through all of the specific colors because sometimes, people don't understand exactly how to sell these tools or they don't understand how to explain them. And, Skin Renew is probably one of the best ones where I've had customers use us, tap into us because we've had customers that have called and said, Skin Renew doesn't maybe sell so well. And then I'll give them 101 different ways in which it can be used. And they'll call me back within a week and a half and tell me that it's their best seller and they can't keep it on the shelf now and send me another 20. So, when you find if there's something for you that you've brought in that you were hoping was going to sell better, we are here to help you to make those products stronger sellers because we know that you're not going to be educated on everything right out of the gate, but don't hesitate to just call a few times. We've got customers that have done that. And those that are honestly our most successful customers are the ones that have really utilized our knowledge and our experience and our expertise and our testimonials from our other customers, that they can then take that information, pass it on, and they are absolutely some of our best customers in doing so. So please know you're never a bother to us. You call us as often as you need to because your success is our success as well. So
Absolutely.
but considering private branding, I think is a great thing. Do we have some other questions that are on there? Did anything else come through? We're going to get ready to wrap up here soon.
Yes. So Gregory was asking, you heard correctly. I am a yellow person and I was mismanaging my yellow. And I know that because I went too much on the excess side. And when you have too much of any energy, then it's almost like you have OCD of that color. So I was,
Mhm.
not only judging others, I was judging myself. I was that uber perfectionist.
Mhm.
So I had a hard time with accepting help from others because I had expectations of, the work level that I wanted. I literally had to become friends with my yellow energy. So I did this whole ritual of working with my yellow for several months just to befriend it. But it is my superpower. So I need to keep replenishing it because I'm using my brain constantly. And, so we use a color because we are underusing it, or we use a color to replenish it if we use it in abundance. It's kind of like, when you drive a car, it's easy for the gas tank to go, to empty, right? So you have to always be working on all your energies anyways, but whatever you're dominant in, you may have to use it even more so to support that. But also, I discovered I was mismanaging it and I had a lot of digestive problems. And so again, once I became, coherent,
Mhm.
that I was misusing that energy, I directed the energy to my stomach. So I specifically started using the digest and detox, rolling it on my stomach and actually having conversations with my ego center saying, okay, yellow, I know that you want to take all the energy to the brain because the brain is really important for the work that we do. I'm a natural scientist. I'm always exploring. I'm always looking for facts and figures. I'm always trying to write about it to educate others. I use an abundance of yellow, but my yellow brain was hogging it all that my digestive system became weak.
Mm.
So I had to use the yellow to get it into my digestive system so my brain didn't hog it all. The more consciousness you have about the layers of energy, meaning you have a yellow mental center, an emotional center, a spiritual center, and the physical connection to the yellow energy. When we talk about holistic, we're talking about the 4 quadrants, and each quadrant has to be equal. If my brain was hogging, 50% of my yellow energy and taking away from my digestive system, no wonder I suffered in that area.
Mhm.
On an emotional, mental level, absolutely no problem. Spiritual level, no problem. But the yellow physically is where I was weak. So there's a variety of reasons why you need to use an energy, and sometimes you have to switch hit, right? You
Mhm.
have to switch colors midday because you're working on a new project, or you need, another energy for support. So the more you're aware of your colors, then the more it's easier to
Mhm.
shift. Because
Mhm.
I wake up in the morning, and I know some of you have heard this before, and I'm never going to stop saying it. I wake up and I say, what color do I need to have the best possible day? And I start by wearing that color, using the oils and essences, getting my mind set into that frequency. So I do so many things to ensure my success. So whatever color you need to know about all the different ways that you can bring it in and why you're bringing it in. Because if you don't have that awareness, then you might not get to the end result with optimal success.
And that's why I love the personality test too, is because when you understand, we talk about the 7 color personalities, but in many ways, it's almost like there's 14 because we have positive attributes and negative attributes to each one of our personality traits. And so when we do the personality test, and as you learn more in things like the master program or in the correspondence program, is it a lot of people when they look at the negative aspects of what their personality has the potential to be, whether they know that they're there or not, you make more of a concerted effort to not be in those aspects of yourself. So sometimes people don't know. I remember when my mom did the personality test, she has a tendency to be very emotional. She's got orange, green, and indigo energy was her predominant energies. And so she definitely wears her heart on her sleeve. And sometimes would suck the energy out of a room when things were emotional for other people, and she would look at that, she goes, "Well, I don't really do that, do I?" I was like, "A little bit, mom," right? So, when you have an opportunity to reflect on some of these things, that's when you realize that you can make an effort to not go into those negative aspects of yourself, because you're not necessarily all the positive things and you're not all the negative things, but, where do you wanna be? And until you realize all of those the language that we share with you of, the predominant colors of positive and negative, you'll make an effort to go more on that positive aspect of yourself, or you'll catch yourself when you tend to go into maybe some of those negative ways, right?
Yeah,
So,
and you are all colors. This is
mhm,
the whole thing. And as Danny mentioned earlier, is when all your colors are harmonious and working together, then you feel more enlightened because
mhm,
you've reached that stage of that white light energy because you've encompassed everything equally. But as long as one energy is predominant and one is weak, you're never going to feel complete.
mhm.
There'll always be something that you feel you need to work on, or you're always attracting things back to you because you're resonating, a specific frequency that's attracting that situation. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're at the end here. We only have a few more minutes. So I just wanted to say January 31st, I'm doing the numerology, astrology / color connection. So it's about how color connects to all these different aspects of your being, from your name to the day you're born. So we cover all these different things, and it's color connection, because when you have these different methods of analysis, and with myself, I can tell you in my test, my orange and yellow, or pardon me, my orange and green were lowest. In my astrological chart, my orange and green were lowest. And in my name, I don't have any orange and green. So when I studied everything and saw that I was lacking those colors, no wonder I didn't get those energies. Like, to me, I really had to work on the orange and green to understand them. But this course to me is a fun course, and it'll teach you that color connection. So that's on the 31st, and it's a $29 cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And go back to the beginning of our chat here where we put in the poll. If you haven't already answered, please do go back and let us know if there's any of those courses that you'd like us to be in touch with you about, because that's how we find out if you are interested. And if you have friends that you want to bring to any of the courses, we do offer an affiliate kickback where you'll get a credit towards either your course off or a credit towards products off, if you're bringing a friend to any of these classes as well. So we appreciate it if you're able to share the love. That's something that we like to pass back on to you as well. And then if you've actually done courses with us before, if you've done any of the courses and you want to do a redo, particularly with the larger courses, then we'll give you 50% off for any course redos. And then I think that was everything. We're going to do a personality test draw unless there's any other questions anybody has, but should we do like a little random
Yeah,
click or
I'll move it up and down, and you
and
just
I'll say
pick.
when. So I'm going to put my finger here and then, okay, so you go up and down, stop. Mary Jane Fogel. Congratulations, you just won the personality test.
You'll have to get Bruce to do it this time, because I think you just did it again, didn't you?
You can give her, hang on 2 seconds, you're on,
Maybe not. I thought. Yeah.
hang on. How do we get her
Just
microphone off?
click on her and then.
Oh, unmute. There we go. Ask to unmute. Can you unmute yourself there, Mary Jane? There should be a little microphone at the bottom of your thing. You're good. Ask to unmute.
Wonder if, can we?
Maybe not. That's okay. We'll catch up with you a little bit later, Mary Jane. We'll email you over the personality test, and really want to thank everybody for coming today. We hope that you enjoyed, and we'll hopefully see many of your faces again on the 31st for the numerology astrology color class.
Or
And-
any of our other upcoming programs.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out to us if there's any questions that you have that spark up afterwards, or suggestions for courses, all sorts of things. So anything that comes to mind, just feel free to reach out to us. We always love talking to you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank
there you are. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Happy Turquoise
Happy
year.
Turkey's year.
Oh, money went up.